Alexander Graham Bell's telephone and Thomas Edison's light bulb reshaped our world. But not every inventor's journey ends on a high note. For some, their groundbreaking innovations came with an unsettling twist. They vanished without a trace. Could their sudden disappearances be linked to the very inventions that were set to revolutionize history? What drove these brilliant minds to disappear, just as their game-changing work was on the brink of transformation? Join us as we uncover the puzzling tales of 5 inventors with mysterious inventions who strangely disappeared. Louis Le Prince, moving pictures. Louis-Aimé Augustin Le Prince was born on August 28, 1841, in Metz, France. His father served as an artillery major in the French army and was a member of the Légion d'honneur. Through his father's connections, Le Prince became acquainted with Louis Daguerre, a key figure in the early development of photography. This relationship allowed him to spend time at Daguerre's studio, where he may have received some early lessons in photography and chemistry. Le Prince pursued studies in painting in Paris before earning a degree in chemistry from Leipzig University. After completing his studies, he moved to England, where he met Elizabeth Whitley, a talented artist. Together, they founded the Leeds Technical School of Art, known for their work in transferring colored photographs onto metal and pottery. Their clients included notable figures such as Prime Minister William Gladstone and Queen Victoria. A decade later, the duo relocated to the United States, where Le Prince oversaw a group of French artists who created large panoramic depictions of famous battles, which were exhibited in Chicago, New York, and Washington, D.C. During this period, Le Prince became intrigued by the idea of creating moving photographs. He designed a camera with 16 lenses, marking his first patent. In May 1887, he returned to Leeds with his family and built a new camera equipped with a single lens capable of capturing motion pictures. In October 1888, Le Prince filmed some of the earliest moving picture sequences, including scenes of his family in a garden, known as the Roundhay garden scene. He also captured footage on Leeds Bridge Street using his single-lens camera and Eastman's paper film. These films predate the public demonstrations of cinema by other notable inventors, like the Lumiere brothers and Thomas Edison, who only applied for his moving picture patents in 1891, shortly after Le Prince's disappearance. In 1890, Louis Le Prince was en route to present his revolutionary invention at a public screening in New York. After visiting his brother in Dijon, France, he boarded an express train to Paris. From there, Le Prince planned to board a train to Paris on September 16th, where he would catch up with friends before heading to the UK to secure a patent for his latest invention. After that, he intended to join his family in the US and host a grand public screening of his motion picture film in New York. However, he took a later train than originally scheduled, causing his friends, who were waiting for him in Paris, to miss his arrival. Unknown to them, Le Prince never actually got off the train in Paris. No one saw him disembark, and his luggage and personal belongings were missing from the train. He simply vanished without a trace. Despite extensive searches by the French police, Scotland Yard, and his family, no clues were found. Authorities scoured the Dijon-Paris Express and its route, checking the Dijon station, but no one except his brother saw him board the train. There were no reports of unusual activity on the train, and no one knew what had happened to him. In 1897, Le Prince was officially declared dead, but no body was ever found. The mystery of his disappearance remains unresolved to this day. Numerous theories have tried to unravel the mystery of Louis Le Prince's disappearance. In 1890, a man's body was found in the Seine River, but the condition of the body made it clear that it wasn't Le Prince. This only fueled the speculation. One historian even suggested that Le Prince's brother, who was the last person to see him, might have killed him for money. Another theory posited that Le Prince, rumored to be gay, chose to vanish voluntarily to protect his family from the social stigma of the time. Yet none of these theories could be proven. The most intriguing and controversial theory suggests that Le Prince was murdered on the orders of Thomas Edison due to a patent dispute. At the time of his disappearance, Le Prince was about to patent a projector and had plans to showcase his inventions in the United States. Edison, who was in fierce competition with Le Prince to lead the emerging film industry, later claimed the invention of the motion picture camera for himself. Adding to the intrigue, Louis Le Prince's son, Adolphe, testified against Edison in court. Just 2 years later, Adolphe was found dead on Fire Island near New York from a gunshot wound. Although his death was officially ruled a suicide, the circumstances surrounding it have only deepened the mystery. The story of Louis Le Prince's life and disappearance remains a fascinating mystery. Ning Li, anti-gravity. Ning Li, a physicist born in China in 1943, made a significant life change at the age of 40 when she and her husband decided to leave China and move to the United States. In 1983, they found themselves in Huntsville, Alabama. While it might seem an unexpected choice for a physicist, Huntsville has a deep-rooted history in space and military technology. After World War II, the Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville became a crucial site for experimenting with German V-2 rockets, which later formed the backbone of the U.S. space program and ballistic missile projects. Even today, Huntsville is a bustling center for technological advancements, with numerous research facilities supported by the University of Alabama and the Department of Defense. The city is also home to many aerospace companies, including Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and General Atomics. By 1990, Li had secured a role as a research scientist at the University of Alabama's Center for Space Plasma and Aeronomic Research. In this position, she soon gained recognition. In 1991, Li and fellow physicist Douglas Torr published several peer-reviewed papers on their theoretical approach to achieving anti-gravity. These papers introduced a concept they called a practical anti-gravity effect. In this context, practical referred to something that, based on their theory, could be achieved outside of laboratory conditions and have real-world applications. Their complex theory involved the rotation of ions to create a gravimetric field perpendicular to the axis of ion spin. By aligning these rotating ions into a structure known as a Bose-Einstein condensate, they proposed that a strong, repulsive force could be generated, potentially counteracting gravity. It's important to remember that while these papers were authored by respected physicists and published in reputable journals, they remain theoretical. Li and Douglas were not claiming to have already overcome gravity. Instead, they claimed to have created a theoretical roadmap to achieving this. The next inevitable step was experimentation. In 1997, Li, now joined by physicists David Nover, Tony Robertson, Ron Coxer, and Whit Brantley, published another paper. This new paper, titled Static Test for a Gravitational Force Coupled to Type II YBCO Superconductors, outlined real results related to Li's theoretical approach to anti-gravity. To be clear, they weren't making anything float around the lab, but they did report what they considered to be unusual fluctuations in the weight of a static test mass that they had suspended above a spinning superconductor. Let's delve into their findings. According to the abstract of their paper, recent experiments have reported anomalous weight loss for a test mass suspended above a rotating Type II YBCO superconductor with a percentage change of 0.5% to 2.1%, independent of the test mass's chemical composition and diamagnetic properties. In simpler terms, the test masses suspended above the rotating superconductor actually lost weight. Although the weight loss was small, it was quite remarkable. This was legitimate scientific research with substantiated evidence suggesting that this process could reduce gravity's pull on an object. Within 2 years of this paper being published, Li decided to leave the University of Alabama and start her own business, AC Gravity LLC. The business is listed as a foreign limited liability company in the Alabama Secretary of State Business Entity Records. This term might catch your attention, but in American corporate law, a foreign LLC simply means that the company conducts business in states outside of the one where it was originally established. It does not mean that the company was established outside of the United States. In this context, a foreign limited liability company just means that this company sometimes conducts business outside of Alabama. Li wasn't alone in believing this emerging technology was promising enough to stake her career on. When she left the University of Alabama, the chair of the university's physics department, a physicist named Larry Smalley, quit his job to join her at AC Gravity LLC. Just about 2 years later, it seems their gamble paid off. According to news reports, AC Gravity received its first Department of Defense contract in 2001, worth a reported $448,900, which adjusted for inflation is just shy of $800,000 today. But then Li seemed to vanish from the academic world. She stopped publishing research papers and making public appearances. It wasn't long before people started to worry. Had this promising physicist, who seemed close to cracking the secret of anti-gravity, disappeared or faced something worse? In 2004, a journalist named Tim Ventura was investigating her sudden disappearance. While he couldn't find Li, he did contact one of her colleagues, Eugene Pokletnov, another scientist in the field. Pokletnov reassured Ventura that Li was fine and still working with the U.S. Department of Defense, but couldn't provide any details about her work. After that, the trail went cold. By 2008, 4 years later, people started filling in the blanks with their own conspiracy theories. A scientist named Jack Sarfati posted on social media claiming he knew that Li had made significant progress in her anti-gravity research. According to Sarfati, she had left the United States to continue her work with the Chinese government. The idea that a Chinese scientist might come to the US, develop advanced military technologies, and then take those technologies back to China quickly spread online because it seemed so possible. This theory gained even more attention from the UFO community due to the mysterious nature of her work. In an unexpected turn of events, a 2023 article from the Huntsville Business Journal revealed an intriguing interview with Dr. George Men, the son of Li. Dr. Men shared that his father, Li, had been deeply involved in anti-gravity research for the Department of Defense. This exciting work continued until 2014, when Li's promising career was abruptly halted by a car accident that left him injured. Dr. Men also revealed that back in 2008, members of the Chinese Communist Party approached her with an offer. They wanted her to return to China and continue her research there. However, Li turned down their proposal. This decision led to severe consequences. She was banned from entering China and could not even attend her own mother's funeral. In 2014, a tragic incident occurred. While crossing the street on the University of Alabama in Huntsville campus, Li was hit by a vehicle. Nikola Tesla, modern power. When you think about the greatest inventors of all time, a few big names probably come to mind. Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, and Thomas Edison. But there's one name that doesn't always get the spotlight. That name is Nikola Tesla. Every time you charge your phone, turn on the lights, or use your refrigerator, you owe a thanks to Tesla. Tesla was born on July 10, 1856, in Smiljan, a small town that is now part of Croatia. He studied at the Technical College of Graz in Austria. Tesla was exceptionally gifted. He could do complex math in his head and spoke 8 languages. Tesla traveled across Europe and eventually settled in Budapest, where he worked as an electrician for a telephone company. One day, while strolling in a park, he had a groundbreaking idea for generating electricity using alternating current, an invention that would revolutionize the world. In 1882, Tesla moved to Paris to work for Thomas Edison's electric company. Initially, he worked on indoor lighting, but quickly impressed his superiors, who assigned him more complex projects like designing dynamos and motors. In 1884, Tesla moved to New York City to work at Edison Machine Works. At first, he admired Edison, who later said, "I have had many hard-working assistants, but you take the cake." However, their admiration turned into rivalry over their differing views on electricity. Edison supported direct current, DC, which flows in one direction, while Tesla championed alternating current, AC, which changes direction periodically. AC is essential for providing a steady supply of electricity to homes and large appliances, while DC is used in smaller devices like flashlights. Edison, who held all the DC patents, was not keen on AC because it threatened his business. Tesla left and started his own electric company in 1885. In 1887, he invented an induction motor that ran on alternating current. This motor was highly efficient at converting electricity into mechanical power and is the basis for the Tesla vehicles we know today. Tesla patented the motor and showcased it at the American Institute of Electrical Engineers the following year. George Westinghouse, a key figure in the electric market, saw that Tesla's AC motor could be the key to completing his own alternating current system and competing against Edison's DC system. Westinghouse licensed Tesla's AC motor patents for $60,000, plus stock and royalties. He also hired Tesla as a consultant for $2,000 a month, equivalent to over $50,000 today. This sparked the War of the Currents. Edison tried to discredit Westinghouse and Tesla by secretly funding an electric chair that used alternating current to show how dangerous AC could be. Edison's company even tortured animals publicly to make their point. They electrocuted a circus elephant named Topsy and made a film about it called Electrocuting an Elephant. Despite these tactics, good things were happening for Westinghouse and Tesla. They outbid Edison and his newly formed company, General Electric, to light up the world's Columbian Exposition in Chicago in 1893. The fair, celebrating the 400th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of America, showcased the future of AC power to 27 million visitors. Their success continued when they beat General Electric again to build the world's first alternating current power plant at Niagara Falls. This hydroelectric power station was a huge success and helped light up Buffalo, New York. The plant also marked Tesla's role as a pioneer in renewable energy. His statue stands at Niagara Falls today, a testament to his impact. Westinghouse and Tesla won the War of the Currents, leading to the gradual phase-out of direct current. But there were significant challenges. Westinghouse's company was running out of money and eventually ended up with $10 million in debt. In 1897, desperate to save his struggling company, Westinghouse turned to Tesla and asked if he could lower his royalties. Tesla, moved by his friend's plight, chose to help. Out of gratitude for Westinghouse's faith in him when no one else did, Tesla tore up his contract. He willingly walked away from $12 million in royalties. If he had kept those royalties, he might have become the richest person on Earth, possibly the first billionaire. Tesla's generous act helped Westinghouse keep his company afloat. In exchange, Westinghouse paid Tesla $216,000 for the rights to use his AC patents forever. With this money, Tesla gained financial independence and set up a large laboratory in New York for his new projects. His lab attracted visits from wealthy and influential people, including his close friend, the famous American writer Mark Twain. During this time, Tesla was at the height of his inventive career. One of his most famous creations was the Tesla coil, a device capable of generating high-voltage electricity. Using these coils, Tesla discovered he could send and receive strong radio signals when they matched in frequency. Just as he was preparing to broadcast his first radio signal, disaster struck. In 1895, a fire destroyed his laboratory, causing him to lose years of research and valuable equipment. On January 7, 1943, a maid at the New Yorker hotel entered room 3327 and found the body of an 86-year-old man who had lived there for the past decade. Tesla had died alone and broke. He subsisted on a diet of warm milk and crackers and was obsessed with feeding the pigeons outside. Despite his groundbreaking inventions, Tesla faded into obscurity and passed away in poverty. After Tesla's death, his nephew, Sava Kosanovich, came to the hotel to collect Tesla's belongings. Kosanovich discovered that some of Tesla's most crucial papers, including a black notebook filled with sensitive information, were missing. This discovery raised eyebrows and drew suspicion, particularly from U.S. government officials. Declassified FBI files from 2016 provide a detailed and intriguing story. Kosanovich, who was the Yugoslavian ambassador to the U.S., was suspected of trying to move Tesla's research to Yugoslavia. The Office of Alien Property Custodian, APC, stepped in, worried that important information might be leaked. Although there were legal uncertainties about their control over Tesla's estate, the APC seized his belongings and papers. Among the items taken were details about Tesla's mysterious death ray, also known as Teleforce, a theoretical weapon that Tesla claimed could down aircraft from hundreds of miles away. Dr. John G. Trump, an MIT professor and the uncle of future President Donald Trump, was assigned to review Tesla's papers. Dr. Trump judged that Tesla's later work was mostly speculative, philosophical, and promotional, and not very practical. Despite Dr. Trump's dismissal of Tesla's ideas, the U.S. military remained interested in Tesla's beam weaponry after World War II. Various military agencies continued to request Tesla's papers, indicating a sustained interest in his theories. By 1952, after a long legal struggle, Kosanovich received his uncle's belongings. However, of the 80 trunks Tesla supposedly owned, only 60 were returned, sparking speculation that the U.S. government kept some of Tesla's most valuable work. The mystery of whether the government returned all of Tesla's papers continues today. While some classified copies of his research still exist, most of the original documents are now housed in the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade, Serbia. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. 5 inventors with mysterious inventions who strangely disappeared is not just a headline. It's the unsettling truth behind some of history's most baffling cases. One of these inventors, a visionary with a groundbreaking creation capable of harnessing gravitational waves for limitless clean energy, was on the cusp of unveiling a technology that could have revolutionized the world. As the night before the grand presentation approached, excitement buzzed in the air. The lab was abuzz with anticipation, and the inventors team prepared for a historic reveal. But as the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere shifted from excitement to confusion. The inventor was nowhere to be found. The lab was left in disarray, with the prototype of the invention missing and important documents scattered around. A single message was found on a whiteboard. Some truths are too powerful. It was the only clue left behind. The police and investigators scrambled for answers, but the trail quickly went cold. Whispers began to circulate about secretive organizations or government agencies that might have had a vested interest in suppressing the revolutionary technology. Despite exhaustive searches and numerous theories, the inventor's whereabouts remained a mystery. How could someone with such a transformative discovery vanish so suddenly? Was it a case of espionage, a preemptive strike by powerful forces, or something even more inexplicable? Markham. Time travel. Time travel is often seen as one of the most thrilling topics in modern science. It combines futuristic theories with fundamental questions about the universe and the latest discoveries in the quantum world. Although most scientists and scholars regard time travel as impossible and against the laws of entropy, there are a few passionate individuals who are so dedicated to the idea that they are willing to risk everything for it. One such person is Markham, often called Madman Mike. His commitment to time travel led him to one of the most unusual and captivating mysteries on the internet. Back in 1995, Mike was struggling with prolonged unemployment and was deeply involved in his personal projects. Having studied electrical engineering, he was convinced that if he could secure funding for his work, he might create a groundbreaking invention that would solve his financial troubles. At just 21 years old, Mike's desperation grew, and people around him noticed that he was becoming increasingly unstable. During this period, he was experimenting with a simple electrical device known as Jacob's ladder. This device demonstrates the movement of electricity with the help of rising hot air. Here's how it works. Jacob's ladder consists of two vertical wires set parallel to each other. At the bottom of the ladder, a transformer creates a potential difference between the wires. This difference forces electrons to move away from each other, causing them to leap from one wire to the other. This jumping creates a visible spark that arcs horizontally between the wires. As the spark heats the surrounding air, the hot air rises, carrying the spark upward. Essentially, the heated air acts as an invisible third wire, and because hot air rises, the spark ascends, creating a dramatic vertical arc. When the spark reaches the top of the wires, it would fizzle out, breaking the connection between the two wires and restarting the cycle at the bottom. Mike, having managed to get his Jacob's ladder working with the help of a CD laser to minimize air resistance between the wires and create a continuous electric arc, reported witnessing something extraordinary. According to Mike, the electrical arc started forming a swirling vortex that bent the light and seemed almost three-dimensional. Curious about the vortex effect, he threw in a sheet metal screw. To his amazement, the electricity struck the screw, making it vanish into thin air. Initially, Mike thought he had stumbled upon a primitive form of an electrical death ray, but just seconds later, the screw reappeared and dropped back down from the wires as if it had been transported and then returned. Mike quickly theorized that what he had seen might be the workings of a time machine. He believed the screw had been sent through time and then reappeared when time caught up with it. To unlock the secrets of time travel, Mike realized he needed a much bigger and stronger Jacob's ladder. Lacking the funds to buy the needed equipment, he took a risky route. He broke into a power station and stole 6 transformers. When he set up his massive Jacob's ladder, the result was a city-wide blackout that lasted several hours and drew the attention of the police. Mike was arrested for theft and spent some time in prison, but his reputation as Madman Mike only grew. After his release, he embraced this nickname and began broadcasting on the airwaves, asking for donations to finish his project. Despite his wild reputation, Mike managed to raise enough money to continue his work legally. By 1996, he claimed that his early tests were promising. "I tried out over 200 different objects and animals in more than 200 tests," he later shared. In 1997, just when he was said to have perfected his invention, Mike mysteriously vanished. Theories abounded, with some people suggesting he had traveled back to the 1930s and died on a California beach. The mystery grew deeper over time. Mike reappeared, or so it seemed, by posting on various blogs about his disappearance. In a 2022 Reddit post, he addressed the rumors. "Wild rumors are saying that I'm dead or that I traveled to the 1930s and died on a beach. The photos of a redhead that were posted? That wasn't me either." He also mentioned that his time machine plans were on hold until he can get the right inverters. Many remain skeptical, questioning whether these posts are genuine. Despite numerous requests, the poster hasn't provided proof of their identity. Whether Madman Mike really defied time or has become just another mystery of the digital age remains an open question. Ettore Majorana, Quantum Mechanics. Ettore Majorana was a young and exceptionally talented Italian physicist whose groundbreaking work advanced our understanding of neutrinos in quantum mechanics. Born in Catania, Italy in 1906, Majorana showed an extraordinary gift for mathematics from a young age. By 16, he was admitted to the University of Rome. Although he initially pursued engineering, he soon switched to physics and began working under the mentorship of the renowned physicist Enrico Fermi. By the age of 22, Majorana had already published his first research paper and completed a master's equivalent degree in physics by 1929. Continuing his research with Fermi's support, Majorana earned his doctorate in theoretical physics at 27. Encouraged by Fermi to explore opportunities abroad, Majorana accepted a grant from the National Research Council and traveled to Germany. There he met Werner Heisenberg, a key figure in the development of quantum mechanics. Their friendship deeply influenced Majorana, who was inspired by Heisenberg's innovative work. Despite the political unrest in Germany following the rise of the Nazis, Majorana focused on his research and published a pivotal paper on nuclear theory in 1933. That same year, he traveled to Copenhagen to work with Niels Bohr, another major contributor to quantum mechanics, gaining valuable insights from him. Throughout his career, Majorana authored around 9 research papers. His last, published in 1937, was titled On the Symmetry of the Theory of Electrons and Protons, and is considered a milestone in quantum mechanics. By 1938, he had become a prominent figure in theoretical physics and was offered a full professorship at the University of Naples. However, his career would be abruptly cut short. In the months leading up to his disappearance, Majorana grew increasingly isolated and troubled by Italy's political climate under Mussolini's fascist regime. On March 25, 1938, he withdrew all his savings from his bank and traveled to Palermo. He checked into a hotel under the alias Ettore Cataneo, claiming he would stay for one night. The hotel clerk noted that Majorana seemed nervous and withdrawn. Majorana sent a note to Antonio Corelli, the director of the Naples Physics Institute, and another note, possibly meant for his family, which has been debated for its authenticity. This note read, "Only one wish, do not wear black. If you must follow custom, just wear a sign of mourning, but not for more than 3 days." Majorana's sister reportedly discovered this note when she went to check on him after he missed his ship to Naples. After writing these notes, Majorana vanished without a trace. He was never seen again after leaving the hotel. It's still unclear whether Ettore Majorana left the hotel for good that night or the following morning. Some reports suggest he checked out, with the hotel clerk stating that Majorana departed on the morning of March 26, 1938, carrying a suitcase and a briefcase. Other accounts, however, claim he never officially checked out and simply left the hotel the night he arrived. His sister Maria was alerted when Ettore didn't reach Naples as planned. She hurried to his hotel that same day, finding his belongings still there, but no sign of him. Maria had been worried about her brother's recent behavior. She described him as unusually withdrawn and depressed in the days leading up to his disappearance, though he wouldn't confide in her. So what really happened to Ettore? The most intriguing theories divide into 2 main possibilities. Either he chose to disappear on his own, or something external forced him to vanish. Which of these disappearances do you find most mysterious? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.